out. Good catch. And he bowled him.
Make no bones about that.
And another one gone. Sobers has got him. Round the corner. Spun shot. That's a good catch.
This is a coaching film with a difference. Certain principles of the game are basic to the game, and these were aptly summed up by the late Sir Pelham Warner in the phrase, young cricketers must learn early that cricket is a sideways art. That is a principle from which most theories of the game have flowed. The theories of the game were well established by the time the West Indies entered the Test arena in 1928. But in the decades since that year, the West Indies have undoubtedly added something to the game. A style, an aggressive, exuberant approach, a panache, which everybody in the game, in all parts of the world, have recognized, have greatly enhanced the game. This film will demonstrate the way that the theories and principles which were established from before 1928 have been added to and improved by West Indian cricket, added to and improved in what we call the West Indian way. This way will be exemplified by 5 of our greatest Test stars. The first is Gary Sobers, the complete cricketer, 2 bowlers in 1, brilliant fieldsman, outstanding batsman. Rohan Kanhai, who was able to blend absolutely perfect technique with strokes around the 360 degrees of the circle, perfect strokes. And Lance Gibbs, that tall, lanky off-spinner, who combined everything that a bowler could want and delivered from the full benefit of his tall frame. And Michael Holding, well known throughout the world for his fast bowling in recent years, full of grace and full of the use, the full benefit of his body in his delivery stride. And then the youngster in the group, the current player, Dujon, wicket-keeper batsman, nimble on his feet, good to the spinners. Those are the 5 who will demonstrate what has become known as the West Indian way. They inherited this approach to the game and this style from the great West Indians of the past, Chalner and Headley and the 3 W's, Constantine, Martindale and Hall, and of course Ram and Val. Through this film they will pass on what they inherited for the benefit of future generations of young West Indian cricketers, so that cricket, the West Indies way, will continue to develop and flourish.
This is where it all started, here and at similar parade grounds throughout the Caribbean, where the British military was stationed in the 18th and 19th centuries when the European powers were fighting for the spoils of the recently discovered New World. This is the Garrison Savannah in Barbados, and it was on this very ground in 1865 that the first match between 2 West Indian territories was contested, between Barbados and what was then British Guyana. It was the start of a process by which the game, introduced by the British, was fashioned by West Indians of every class and race into an expression of our unique character, and eventually developed into a consistently high level of exciting excellence. Ironically, cricket is no longer played here at the Garrison, which is now the Horse Racing Centre. But West Indians play their cricket everywhere else, on the great grounds of the world, on small, rough patches hemmed in by Caribbean cane fields, in the street, in the backyard, on the beaches. And test match or club match, knockout or knockabout, they play it with an instinctive verve and a sense of enjoyment. They play it the West Indian way. Bowling has always been an essential and dynamic part of West Indies cricket, especially fast bowling. Great fast bowlers have proliferated throughout its history, sometimes in pairs, sometimes in trios, and more recently in the fearsome foursomes of the modern devastating generation. One of the most incisive of all West Indian fast bowlers has been Michael Holding, whose grace and rhythm camouflaged and yet at the same time caused his explosive speed. Aptly called the Rolls-Royce of fast bowlers, Mikey Holding set a staggering record when he took 14 wickets in a test against England on a slow oval pitch in 1976, clean bowling 9 of his victims. Like Holding, Sir Gary Sobers was poetry in motion in everything he did, and he did it all, including bowling fast. As a left-hander, he presented batsmen with unusual problems of angle and swing, a most dangerous adversary with the new ball. Mikey Holding and Sir Gary Sobers bowled fast the West Indian way. And Gary Sobers bowled spin too, of both varieties, usually in partnership with the slim-off spinner Lance Gibbs, whose 309 test wickets made him the most prolific of all West Indian bowlers. It was a partnership to compare with that of the two little pals of mine, Ramadan and Valentine, the spin twins of the 1950s, all doing it the West Indian way.
There are various grips for the different balls that I bowl. We will start with the standard grip. The first 2 fingers are placed along the seam, with the seam running equally between both fingers. The thumb underneath runs straight along the seam underneath. 2 fingers on top, seam equally between the thumb along the seam, straight down the line. For the outswinger with the new ball, the first 2 fingers are again placed alongside the seam, but this time the seam is slightly slanted in the direction in which the ball is heading. The thumb underneath goes off at a slight tangent to the seam because of the slant of the seam. That's the first 2 fingers on top, the seam slightly slanted towards the slip in the direction it goes. The thumb to a slight tangent off the seam, not straight along the seam. For the outswinger with the old ball, with half the ball on shine and half of it dull. The first 2 fingers are placed alongside the seam, with the seam running equally between both fingers on top. The thumb underneath runs straight along the seam. That's the first 2 fingers on top, equally on either side of the seam, and the thumb straight along the seam. The shine side is opposite to the direction in which you want the ball to go. For the inswinger with the new ball, the second finger is this time placed a little bit closer to the seam, almost on top of the seam, with the seam slanted in the direction in which the ball is intended to go. The first finger is more on the side of the seam, on the side of the ball. The thumb underneath, because of the slanting of the seam, runs off almost diagonally to the seam. So that's the first 2 fingers, the first finger a little bit off the seam, the second finger on the seam, the thumb diagonally to the seam. For the inswinger with the old ball, the shine side is now held on the inside, opposite to the direction in which the ball is intended to go, and the dull side on the outside. The first 2 fingers are again placed similarly in the way of the new ball. The second finger along the seam, the first finger beside the seam on the shine side. The thumb again underneath goes off diagonally away from the seam because of the tilting of the seam. The shine side on the inside, the dull side on the outside in the direction in which the ball goes. That's the fingers on top, similarly to the new ball, the thumb underneath diagonally away from the seam.
The run-up is important to all bowlers, but more especially fast bowlers. Having marked out his run, Michael Holding begins his approach, gets the appropriate grip on the ball, gradually gathers momentum, maintaining rhythm and balance, eyes always on the target, reaches maximum speed into delivery stride, carrying his left arm across his body, looking over his leading shoulder to ensure a side-on action, and finally releases another potential wicket. Another vital aspect of bowling is the placement of the front foot in the delivery stride, as this determines body action. For the outswinger, the toe points towards leg slip, acting as a brace for the bowling arm to whip across the body in delivery. For the inswinger, the toe points straight down the pitch so that the bowling arm finishes on the inside of the body on delivery. Now Michael Holding demonstrates the inswinger, toe pointing straight down the pitch on delivery, the ball swinging in from off to leg. Now the outswinger, toe pointing to leg slip on delivery, the ball swinging from leg to off. Here is how Michael Holding used them both during his magnificent spell at the Oval in 1976. First, the inswinger, which comes in to bowl a la knot. Notice in slow motion the movement from off to leg as the ball hits the middle stump. Then the outswinger, which goes away to have Dennis Amiss caught at slip. And now in slow motion, the ball moving from leg to off to find the outside edge of the bat for the catch. One of the most effective weapons in the fast bowler's armory is the bouncer. It carries the elements of both surprise and fear for the batsman. It's the most controversial delivery in the game because of its physical threat, but it has been used by fast bowlers in all eras, not least West Indian. Here, Michael Holding aptly demonstrates this special bowl, bowling to England's David Gower in the Oval Test in 1984. He puts extra effort as he delivers, releasing the ball a little later as he pounds it into the pitch, seeking the steep bounce that carries it above the level of the batsman's shoulder. As with all deliveries, it needs to be accurate, so the batsman can't evade it. In this case, giving a catch to the wicketkeeper off the gloves. Without doubt, the highlight of Michael Holding's outstanding career was at the Oval in 1976, those 14 wickets in the last test against England.
And he's out, LBW this time.
That's out. And he's bowled him.
And he's bowled him.
Bowled him, beaten for pace there.
And has bowled him. He's gone over too far. He's left the leg stump wide open. And he's played it on. And he's done it too, Olive. Yes, he's got out in the identical fashion. And that's an edge, and that's taken, and he's caught at second slip. And he's out, I think. It's on his way. Yes, caught behind.
And what a great delivery. Oh, well, bowled.
And he's bowled too. And that's out, and it's LBW, and it's all over.
Michael Holding, one of the greatest of the many great West Indian fast bowlers, poetry in motion, devastating in delivery. And from one great West Indian to the greatest.
This is the grip for the left-hander's Inswinger to the right-handed batsman. The index finger and the second finger are diagonally across the seam of the ball, with the thumb underneath on the right-hand side of the ball, and the seam is pointing towards second leg slip. You notice the two fingers are just resting slightly on the ball but not across the ball with the third finger gripping the ball. And this allows the ball to come out very loose and causes the ball to swing. Now this is the grip, the reverse grip for the outswinger. The seam is pointing towards second slip on the offside. The index finger and the second finger are diagonally across the seam of the ball, with the thumb at the bottom, this time on the left-hand side of the ball and not on the right-hand side like the inswinger. And the wrist is well cocked back to release the ball. Now this is my way of bowling the outswinger. Now this is the orthodox grip for the left-hander's leg break. If you notice, the index finger is across the seam of the ball, the second finger is on the leather part, and the third finger is resting on the bottom of the seam. The fingers are fairly wide apart, and the thumb is away from the ball and not resting against it, as you probably see in other photos. But this is my way of bowling the orthodox left arm leg break. Now for the Chinaman, which is the left-hander's off break and not the left-hander's googly, you will notice that the seam again is run across the palm of the hand. The index finger is slightly across the seam, not much, just slightly across it. The second finger is resting slightly on the seam but keeping the ball in place, and the third finger, and this is the one that does all the damage, and this is the one where you see the seam is resting right across the third finger, and the thumb again is away from the ball and you're not hugging it into the palm of the hand. You're giving the ball some room where you can move and get the fingers to work properly, and causes the ball to turn from off to leg. Now the googly's grip is similar to that grip of the Chinaman. The only difference between the two is that the ball this time, the wrist turns right over and allowing the ball to come out through the back of the arm with the third finger pulling down on the ball. As you can see, the wrist is cocked, it's turned right over, and the ball is coming through the back of the arm with the little finger in the air, and you pull down with the third finger, reversing the spin of the ball and causing the ball to spin from leg to off instead of, like the Chinaman, from off to leg. Now this is the grip for the Chinaman, as you can see. The index finger across the seam, the second finger just resting on the seam, but the third finger is bent right across the seam, as you can see. The wrist is cocked into that position, because you must remember that apart from the fingers, you have to also use your wrist, because it's finger and wrist spin that you are going to achieve, which helps you to enable the ball to turn a lot more if you use your fingers and your wrist. So your wrist must be cocked, your fingers must be in that position, and the thumb away from the ball. Now, a lot of people over the years have mistaken the left-hander's Chinaman for the googly, but the left-hander's Chinaman is the off break and not the googly. The googly is the reverse, similar to the right-hander's googly. The only difference is that the right-hander's googly comes from the offside and the left-hander's googly comes from leg to off.
As with fast bowlers, the run-up is vital for slow bowlers as well. It is obviously shorter, but also involves rhythm and balance and the side-on action in delivery, as Sir Gary Sobers demonstrates for the orthodox left-arm spinner. Now notice he goes the opposite side of the wicket, over the wicket, for the left-arm Chinaman, the ball turning into the right-handed batsman, and also over the wicket for the left-arm googly, the ball turning away from the right-handed batsman. As with fast bowlers, so too with spinners in the matter of foot placement on delivery. Here is the way Sir Gary's feet are placed for his orthodox left-arm spinner, delivered from round the wicket. Front foot pointing to slip, acting as a pivot on follow-through. For the Chinaman, from over the wicket, the front foot also pointing to slip. But for the googly, note the change, front foot now pointing straight, allowing a chest-on delivery. Delivering left arm fast from over the wicket, Sir Gary produces the Inswinger, the ball swinging in from off to leg, and the Outswinger, the ball moving in the opposite direction from leg to off. Gary Sobers, 3 bowlers in 1, capable of 5 different deliveries. The Inswinger, which comes in to have England's Ray Illingworth leg before wicket at the Oval in 1973.
Out, that must be out. A late swinger from Gary Sobers.
And bowls England's Phil Sharp.
Oh, and he's bowled him.
The Outswinger, which finds the edge of Frank Hayes' bat for a catch to slip.
It's out. Good catch. Fine catch, Clive Lloyd. And Sobers.
Then bowling spin to Illingworth, the Chinaman, followed by the googly.
Beautiful googly and got. Yes, he was caught at slip. Turned an awful lot that. So Gary Sobers there. This was the ball that we've been talking about over the last few overs. This googly spinning up the hill and Illingworth not quite sure which way it was going to go, having to play at it.
And the orthodox leg break to England's Keith Fletcher for the rest of the world in 1970.
Caught him. A good delivery by Sobers. The ball spinning from leg stump, finding the outside edge of Fletcher's bat.
Sir Gary Sobers, showing a few of the many facets that made him such a phenomenal all-round cricketer. Lance Gibbs is the only spin bowler to have taken over 300 wickets in Test cricket, a unique achievement by a unique West Indian cricketer. Off-spin was his speciality.
The normal grip as described in any cricket coaching manual is with you're bowling off your index finger, the top joint, and your thumb is bracing against the seam of the ball. The Lance Gibbs grip and the grip that I've been successful with is this one, with my thumb actually removed from the seam. The normal grip as demonstrated in the cricket coaching manual would be this way. The Lance Gibbs grip and the one that I've been successful with is this way, where the thumb is completely removed even from the seam of the ball. You will notice that my index finger is running along the seam of the ball, and in my delivery I'd have to pull against the seam in order to get maximum amount of turn. You will notice that the ball is not resting on the palm of my hand, but being held directly with my fingers. This is the grip for the leg spin. This is the only grip that I know as far as leg spin is concerned. The bowling is controlled by the third finger. Unlike the off spin, that is, you use your index finger, the third finger is the main finger in control as far as leg spin is concerned. Controlled by the third finger of the right hand and delivered in an anti-clockwise direction. Whilst the off spin is controlled by the index finger and when pitches and turns goes in a clockwise direction.
As with Michael Holding and Sir Gary Sobers, Lance Gibbs shows the benefit of a smooth, relaxed run-up, moving into a side-on action, using his fingers to impart spin on his off-break. For the leg break, as Lance has explained, the grip is different, and he uses both fingers and wrist action to get his spin. Now let's see what happens off the pitch once Lance Gibbs has delivered. His off break, which turns from off to leg, and his leg break, which turns from leg to off. And at Lord's in 1973, Lance Gibbs' speciality, the off break, earned him several England wickets.
Sobers has got him round the corner, spun sharply. Sobers has had a lot of work there this morning, and Gibbs finally getting one that Fletcher couldn't keep down. Big crowd around the batsman. Sobers says, what a great catch that was. A marvellous.
Wrapping those big, gnarled, knotty fingers around the ball.
And that's it. Kanhai taking the catch.
That's a good catch. 3 million there on the onside. Bowled him, and that is the end of the match.
Lance Gibbs, one of the game's greatest off-spinners, who did it the Lance Gibbs way, the West Indian way. There is nothing more distinctive in cricket than the way a West Indian bats. The style, the attitude, the sheer joie de vivre is pure Caribbean, full of laughter and sunshine. And yet, for all that, there's nothing stereotype about West Indian batsmen, the greatest of whom have had a certain individuality and a certain discipline too, because without discipline, we would never have had Challoner and Headley and the proliferation of great players who followed in their footsteps. West Indian batsmanship is, above all else, an art aggressively and joyfully expressed, and it's never been more joyfully expressed than by Rohan Kanhai and Gary Sobers, the greats of the 1960s, and by their recent dashing descendants, Clive Lloyd, Gordon Greenidge, Vivian Richards. Kanhai, of East Indian descent, sharp of eye and reflexes, scorer of over 6,000 runs and 15 centuries in his 79 tests, the complete batsman against all types of bowling in all types of conditions. Sobers, 4 cricketers in one, but batsman supreme first. 8,032 runs in his 93 tests, the world record test score of 365 not out, numbered among his 26 centuries. Utterly dominant, yet utterly dependable too.
When you learn to bat, the grip is very, very important, because there are various ways in which one can grip the bat. For instance, if one grips the bat where the bottom hand is too far under, it means that one would play a lot of onside shots, play to the onside, because of the bottom hand too far around. The top hand is too far around the bat. You have a similar occurrence where you find that the batsman is inclined to play again to the onside because it's very difficult to play through the offside. Now, my explanation of a proper grip is to make sure that the bottom hand is an inch away from the handle of the bat, where the blade finishes, an inch away from there, about a half an inch between the two hands, and an inch from the top. The V on the top hand runs towards the left shoulder. The top hand being the right hand for a left-handed batsman. The left hand is the bottom hand, and you'll find that the V runs to the right hand shoulder. And having done all of those things, you will find that you have a fairly correct grip. There's also 2 other ways of trying to secure a proper grip. And I find that this one that you're about to see is probably one of the easiest ways of making sure that your grip is close, very close to being correct. And that is by getting some person, whether one of your colleagues, member of your team, or whoever it may be, to pass the bat to you, and you take it in this fashion. Natural way of taking a bat with both hands if somebody passed something to you. Then you find that you put it down into your stance, and you find you have a very, very slight adjustment, if any adjustment at all. The other way is that you can put the bat between you, between your legs, And this is one of the ways that you've seen so often throughout the world. And you bend down over the bat and you pick it up with both hands. And I find that with that one, you can see the top hand is very far around. You have to make a very big adjustment to get the top hand into the proper position. You find the bottom hand gets into the proper position, but the top hand, you have to move it around. Where with the other one, you find that when the bat is being passed to you, you find that your hands fall into place quite easily. When taking your stance, make sure that your feet is at least 3 or 4 inches apart. Make sure that the weight is evenly distributed down the center. Do not have too much weight on the back foot, because if you have too much weight on the back foot, it means that when you go to play a back foot shot, you'll find it very difficult to take your back foot back without transferring the weight onto the front foot first and then having to move your back foot. By that time, you lose precious time. Similar occurrence if you're playing off the front foot. You find that you will have then to transfer the weight back to the back foot and then onto the front foot to get your front foot moving to the pitch of the ball. So do make sure that you have that even balance where the weight is evenly distributed on both feet. Then you put your bat just behind the back foot, close to the toes. Well, some Australians, as we know, bat with their feet wider apart and they have the bat between their legs. But West Indians, English players, and most other players throughout the world, particularly West Indians, you'll find that nearly all West Indians bat with the bat behind their back foot, very close to their toes, and not with the bat sticking out in front of you like that. So this is your stance, foot slightly apart, 3 to 4 inches, bat behind the back toe, head turned, looking inside the lead-in shoulder and watching the bowler as he runs up and looking at that ball in his hand. Knees slightly flexed, not with your knees straight, slightly flexed, and you find that that brings you into a very comfortable position and keeping your head very, very still.
Now let's watch two of the greatest batsmen the game has ever known demonstrate their special ways of playing several of the basic strokes in the game. First, the left-handed Sir Gary Sobers, playing forward in defence, the most used stroke in the game. Employed against the ball of good length, the front leg is stretched well forward, the bat coming down in line with the ball, head and eyes down, body well forward. The bat, controlled mainly by the top hand, is held at an angle to keep the ball down. The cover drive is an attacking stroke, played to the half volley, pitched wide of off stump. The front leg comes out to the pitch of the ball, the stroke made with a full flow and follow through of the bat, head over the ball to keep it along the ground. The on drive is played to a half volley pitched on or just outside the leg stump. Sir Gary comes out on his front foot, driving through mid-on, with head well over the ball, body opening up on completion of the stroke. The square cut is used against the ball short of a good length, pitched wide of off stump and bouncing over the height of the stumps. Sir Gary carries his back foot across to the line of the ball, bringing the bat downwards at moment of contact, with wrists rolling over to keep the ball down. The late cut is similar to the square cut, the difference being that the bounce of the ball is slightly lower and the shot is delayed a fraction longer. The pull, played to a short ball bouncing waist height in line with the body. The left foot is back and across, and the bat comes down hard and across to give power to the stroke. Wrists rolled to keep the ball down in the mid-wicket region. And now for a few choice Sobers strokes from the last of his 26 Test centuries.
That's found the gap there, and this is going to be his 150. As a matter of fact, it's going to be 4 runs. Oliveira couldn't cut it off. Square drive, 4 runs. Magnificent shot. Dropped that short. He was onto it so quickly. Hooked it away past mid-wicket. Still managing to get a hand. And a beautiful, magnificent square cut. Dropped short again. He was onto this like a flash. Found this gap, and this is the hallmark, the test of such a great player, to find the gaps in this offside field. Underwood to Sobers. Clipped that away through mid-wicket, 4 runs. Never even bothered to leave the crease.
Quite safe. Tremendous hit by Gary Sobers. Marvellous flow.
Of all Gary Sobers' many records, his 6 sixes in 1 over for Nottinghamshire against Glamorgan at Swansea in 1968 remains one of the most thrilling.
And he's got to pick that. That was the right distance. He's hit that out of the ground. That's another one. Goodness gracious me, that peppered the top. You see the chap climbing up there to have a look over the wall. 52 in 29 minutes. That's another one up in the enclosure. 3 balls, 3 sixes, 58. What an incredible bit of hitting. Ooh, he's got that shorter one. It's up again. There it is, bouncing on the concrete. And that will just carry. No, he's going to be out. Caught out. Oh, he's dropped it. He's over the boundary. This is really one of the bits of drama that will be worth looking at again sometime. 6 it is! 70 on the board. And he's done it! He's done it! And my goodness, it's gone way down to Swansea. 36 in 1 over.
Batting grip is so important to all batsmen. This is mine over the years, and it's been very successful for me. My fingers wrapped around the bat handle firmly and together, as you can see, so I have full control of the bat. It is so important to all batsmen to have control of the bat. If you notice, my left hand, back of my left hand is facing towards extra cover. So with that grip, I can turn my wrist to play all the shots I want to play without moving it. Stance is also a very important aspect of batsmanship. Weight, as you can see, equally distributed on both legs, so I feel comfortable and well balanced. In that, I can play forward with ease, I can play back with ease. If you notice, my legs are about 4 to 5 inches apart and parallel to the crease. Legs, knees bent a little, so I can feel comfortable. Before we commence batting, we usually take a guard. Middle stump, or the leg stump, or middle and leg stump, which is between the middle and the leg stump. There is no specific guard for a batsman. It is by his own choice which he prefers, which he feels comfortable with. This will give us a guide for where our stumps are.
With grip, stance and guard settled, you're now ready to bat. And to play, backward in defence. The bat is brought straight back, the right foot back in line with the ball, left foot also moving to a sure balance. On contact, head down, eyes over the ball, the bat handle is slightly forward of the ball, thus keeping it down. Rohan Kanhai plays the late cut to the ball pitched short of a length and wide of off stump. Right foot goes across and the bat comes down on the ball, wrist rolling over on contact. The square cut is first cousin to the late cut, the basics being the same, except that the ball bounces above stump height and contact is made a little earlier. The back foot off drive is made to the ball pitched short, but closer to the off stump than for the cuts. The weight is transferred onto the back foot as it moves across in line. The bat coming through straight to meet the ball and force it through mid-off. The straight drive off the back foot is very similar and is made to the ball pitched on or just outside off stump. The back foot on drive is employed to the ball pitched between middle and leg stump. Here, Rohan Kanhai gets into a square on position, chest facing the bowler, allowing the bat to come down on the ball, the blade facing mid-on on contact. Another back foot stroke is the pull, played to a short ball bouncing waist height in line with the body. The right foot is back and across, and the bat comes down hard and across to give power to the stroke. Wrists rolled to keep the ball down in the mid-wicket region. The hook is a risky but very rewarding stroke if executed properly. It is played to the short pitch ball rising above chest height. The right foot goes back, getting the body inside the line of the ball, and pivots as the stroke is completed with a full swing of the bat, eyes always on the ball. The pull and the hook are violent strokes. The leg lance is one of the most delicate in the game. It is played to the ball pitched slightly short, going down the leg side. Getting inside the line, Rohan Kanhai turns the bat and rolls his wrist to deflect it behind the square. Note the positioning of the feet at the end of the stroke. Forward defense is vital to batting. The left leg is stretched well forward. The bat meets the ball close to the leg, allowing no room for it to pass through. The body is well forward, head still, and eyes over the ball. The cover drive dispatches the half volley wide of off stump. Left foot comes out to the pitch. The bat comes through close to the front foot with full follow-through on contact. Head well down and 4 runs. The straight drive deals with the half volley pitched on middle and off stump. The same principles as the cover drive apply. Left foot out to the pitch, bat following through, head over the ball. And the last of the drives, the on drive, played to the half volley just on our outside leg stump. Note the body opens up on completion of the stroke, which places the ball through mid-on. The sweep is a spectacular stroke, and Rohan Kanhai had his own special way of playing it, tumbling over on his backside. Here he demonstrates the accepted method. He gets his left leg just inside the line of the ball, which is pitched outside leg stump. He bends body and knees and swings the bat across and on top of the ball with wrists rolled. Stepping out to drive allows the batsman to meet the ball from the slow bowler on the full toss or half volley, thus eliminating any spin. It requires correct footwork and careful selection of the appropriate delivery. Here, Rohan Kanhai steps out to off-drive a ball pitched outside off-stump, and to on-drive a ball pitched on or just outside leg stump. Like Gary Sobers, Rohan Kanhai marked his last Test appearance at Lord's in 1973 with a century, and a wide range of strokes from his repertoire.
Very delicate leg lance by Kanhai, beautifully turned round. Oh, he made no bones about that.
That got up a normal height, was beautifully put away by Kanhai. Takes him on to 50.
What a great stroke. That's a beautiful piece of play there. Illingworth now bowling to Rohan Kanhai. And there it is. That is Rohan Kanhai's 6,000th run in Test cricket, playing in his 74th Test match here at Lord's, and the only others ever to achieve this great feat: Sobers, Cowdrey, Hammond, Bradman, Hutton, Barrington and Harvey. Oh, that's a great shot. Kanhai didn't bother hooking that behind square. He just slashed it away through mid-wicket. Great shot, that. Oh, and a misfield will give Kanhai his 100. Kanhai goes to 100. A fine innings by the West Indian captain.
Sir Gary Sobers and Rohan Kanhai, left-handed one, right-handed the other, were two of the greatest exponents of the West Indian way of batting, possessing all the strokes and the ability and the inclination to play them. The stance, the grip, the strokes, whether attacking or defensive, are important aspects of batting, but no less critical is running between the wickets. There is no more frustrating way to be dismissed than run out. Batting is a partnership and entails understanding and communication. While one batsman is taking strike, his partner, the non-striker, should be backing up and alert. He should get into the habit of backing up to every single delivery. He moves a few yards down the pitch as the bowler delivers, but he must make sure the ball is released before leaving his crease, as he can be run out by the bowler. Always run the first run fast, trying at all times to put the fielders under pressure by turning sharply to look for a second or a third run. The batsman should always face the ball when turning, so that he can know where it is and whether he can attempt another run. This entails changing the bat to the appropriate hand, so that he does not turn with his back to the ball, known as turning blind. Especially in taking a sharp single, the batsman should ground the bat a few yards or so outside the crease, and stretching right out, slide it in. Let's see an example of Rohan Kanhai running between the wickets in an actual match, the Lord's Test of 1973. Jeff Arnold of England is bowling to Clive Lloyd, and Kanhai is backing up at the non-striker's end, ready to run on the stroke. As he runs, he transfers the bat from left to right hand so he can see where the ball is gone. He changes hands again, turning for the third run, so he can still be facing the ball. As with no other on the cricket field, the wicket-keeper's is a specialist position. He alone of all the players is required to watch every ball bowled. The physical and mental demands are great. Not only must his concentration be unswerving, but he must possess fast reflexes, great agility, precise judgment, and a safe pair of hands. Jeff Dujon, the latest to fill the position in the West Indies team, has all those attributes, as he must repeatedly take the barrage from a squad of some of the fastest bowlers the game has known. He's upheld the high traditions of great West Indian keepers over the years, like Jerry Alexander and Jackie Hendricks, graduates of the same Wolmer's College in Jamaica, and the long-serving and highly competent Derek Murray. The wicket-keeper needs a comfortable and well-balanced stance, in a crouched position with knees bent outward and a bit forward. heels raised off the ground. His hands are free from the pads, in a cupped position pointing forward, slightly touching the ground. He needs a clear view of the bowler, which means he looks up the pitch with head just wide of the off stump. The wicketkeeper stands up to the stumps to the slower and medium-paced bowlers. He stays down until the ball leaves the bowler's hand, gradually rising when he reads the pace and bounce of the ball. Hands in a cupped position, body well behind the ball, he takes it with gloves together, with a slight give on impact. Taking the ball on the leg side is more difficult, in that the wicketkeeper's view is obscured by the batsman at a crucial time when the ball approaches. His movement and judgment need to be spot on as he moves across quickly outside the leg stump to get into line with the ball. The gloves again take with hands in a cupped position and a slight give. Standing up to the stumps, the wicketkeeper needs to be alert for the stumping, when the batsman is lured out of his crease and misses the ball. Having made the take, his hands have to work like a flash to remove the bails to effect the dismissal. The leg side stumping has a high degree of difficulty, for having made the take, the wicketkeeper's judgment of distance has to be perfect as he brings the ball back to remove the bails. To the fast or medium-pace bowlers, the wicketkeeper usually stands back. He determines how far back by the speed of the bowlers and the bounce of the pitch. He takes the same stance as when up to the stumps. The faster bowlers present different problems, as the ball can swing and bounce awkwardly, so he needs to be careful not to move too early, or late for that matter, or to come up from his stance too soon. In taking the ball, the hands are in a cupped position, giving as the ball enters the gloves. For the ball down the leg side, the wicketkeeper anticipates and moves quickly into position to make the take. Wicketkeepers take more catches than anyone else on the field, and most of them come from deflections off the faster bowlers. It tests their agility and anticipation, as it means a sudden deviation of the ball. For the ball wide on the offside, going away to the wicketkeeper's right, he needs to throw himself to his right, right hand fully extended for the take, grasping the ball tightly to ensure it does not come loose when he hits the ground. For the ball going wide on the leg side, even quicker movement is required, as he has to cover more ground to reach it. Now he throws himself to his left, with left hand fully extended in making the take. Geoffrey Dujon has had his fair share of bouncing balls to take from his fast bowlers over the years. He has to get up quickly and then leap high, with body and right hand fully extended to catch the ball over his head. The left hand is used for the bouncer down the leg side.
Wicket-keeping at the international level is very hard work. It requires concentration, dedication, and physical fitness. For me, it has meant a concentration on flexibility, agility, and the ability to catch with one hand. The type of bowlers we have make it very difficult for a wicketkeeper. So I've had to adapt my style to suit the type of pace that we have. It has worked very well for me. It's my way, and it's been very successful.
His way and successful, as Geoffrey Dujon proved with these catches against England in the 1984 series.
What a marvellous catch. Geoffrey Dujon has made tremendous ground there to catch Chris Broad. The first wicket goes down in the England innings for 101. And another one gone. Gow's watched all the happenings at the other end. Terry off the field injured. Lamb struck, and then the wave of the bat, and a good catch at the wicket by Dujon. 117 for 3 now. And Terry.
That was a nasty one, and he's gone. Just a little flick of the gloves. And a great disappointment there with Gar going to hold him. Caught by Dujon behind. And another one. And he's gone this time. Just flicked the glove, couldn't get out of the way. West Indies are delighted. Both of them's gone for 14.
Catches win matches, goes the old saying, and just as certainly dropping them loses matches. West Indians appreciate full well the value of fielding in the general scheme of things, because it was fielding which proved one of their most serious handicaps in their early years in international cricket, just as it's proved one of their major strengths in their most recent successes. It's widely agreed that if in no other area of the game, standards of fielding have improved immeasurably in the modern game, probably as a result of the introduction of limited overs cricket, where it's doubly important. Yet it's a vital element in any team, and in Gary Sobers, an uncanny close to the wicket catcher, Rohan Kanhai, a specialist in the slips throughout his lengthy test career, and Michael Holding, whose speed, anticipation and strength of throw make him savour of countless runs in the outfield, all have consistently emphasised the value of fielding. The leg barrier. The fielder gets his left knee behind the ball, hands in a cupped position, keeping his eyes on the ball with the fingers pointing downwards. Attacking the ball. Now the fielder moves into the ball with the body bent, keeping his eyes on the ball. He does not snap or grab, but makes sure the ball is secure in his hands, remembering to give a little with his hands afterwards. He collects the ball and makes sure he's well balanced before attempting to throw. Interception. Here the fielder picks up the line and flight of the ball, moves quickly, then cuts his pace down according to the speed of the ball. After collecting, he turns sharply, balances himself and throws. Alternatively, he turns in mid-air and throws all in one action, as Michael Holding spectacularly demonstrates as only he can. For the slip catch, the fielder stays low with knees bent and legs apart. He must be well balanced so that he can move on either side, forward or up, with ease. His hands are cupped, and eyes on the ball, he concentrates all the time. General catching. Rohan Kanhai picks up the flight of the ball quickly and moves sharply to get under it. His eyes are on the ball at all times, and his hands are in a cupped position. The catch is taken at chest height, as he gives with the hands. For the high catch, Sir Gary reverses the cupped position, with the thumbs and first fingers crossed for extra support, to make sure the force of the ball does not penetrate his hands. And now for a few examples of alert West Indian catching and brilliantly athletic fielding.
Sobers has got him round the corner. A really good catch by Gary Sobers, going away to his left-hand side. A fine piece of fielding by Sobers, who for many years has specialised in that position. Big crowd around the batsman. And Sobers says, what a great catch that was. A marvellous catch, pure reflex there. And look at the joy on Sobers. Now there's a flashback to the great days. It's out. Keith Boyce takes the wicket. And Gary Sobers falling away with the ball there and completing the catch. It's out. Good catch. Fine catch, Clive Lloyd. And Sobers getting the breakthrough this morning for the West Indies. Oh, well caught by Viv Richards. It might have been a straight catch in the sense that it went straight to him, but it was dropping very sharply, and Richards' safe hands gathered it in. Oh, well done. Not good cricket at the other end, I want to tell you. But that is really quick thinking. Brilliant piece of cricket. It's a great piece of cricket. Oh, beautiful. That was top class stuff. A single to get Lamb off the mark. Harper came at it. He always attacks the ball in the field. He came at it, thought quickly, didn't bother trying to pick up and side-handed to the end to which Gower was running. Turned it in the one action, threw down the stumps at his own bowler's end. Alan Lamb run out for naught.
Sir Gary Sobers, Rohan Kanhai, Lance Gibbs, Alan Ray and Michael Holding played more than 350 test matches between them in different eras. That amounts to a wealth of experience. And in conversation at Kensington Oval, Barbados and Sabina Park, Jamaica, they provide their thoughts on some aspects of the game which they graced with their presence for so long.
I believe that in the West Indies, we sort of, players have got natural ability, and the coaches here, they're prepared to work on any little faults that they might see around. And this is why I've said, had I been born in another country in the world, I probably might not have been holding the ball as I would hold it this way. I would say my grip is not orthodox.
Yes, but the thing that always confuses me, and I'd like somebody to tell me what is orthodox and what is unorthodox. What I call unorthodox is when I see fellas playing certain shots in defense. Because I think when you're attacking and you're looking for runs and improvising, where you can take a ball from the off stump and hit it through the leg side for 4 runs, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing unorthodox about that because it's deliberately played by the player. As far as he is concerned, that is an orthodox shot for him because that's the shot he wants to play.
The new technique that players all over the world have. I'm talking about this backlift, the new kind of backlift. They lift the bat up high over the shoulder. I think that's all
people's stupidness anyhow. Mm. They look like somebody playing baseball and cricket at the same time.
Well, it's a style, a new style.
No, the theory behind that is that you have to take a backlift anyhow when you're bringing your bat up to play any shot. So if you start with it there, you're already in position. So it gives you more time to get it down. But you got fellas who pick it up there already, and then when the ball comes, they pick it higher.
That's true.
So they're playing a defensive shot with the bat up around their ears. When you talk about Sir Donald Bradman, they say Sir Donald Bradman was one of the most orthodox players. I have had the privilege of sitting down and talking to Sir Donald Bradman. And his ideas, I agree with. That runs is cricket. And wherever there's an open gap and you could hit the ball in that position, hit it there. There's no sense putting your left foot down the wicket and hitting a beautiful cover drive straight to a man at cover when there's a mid-wicket position open that you can hit the ball through there for 4. Manipulate the ball, move it into open gaps. And that is cricket. And that is what I believe in.
Well, when we started first in the test arena, there was no question about us being Calypso cricketers. Now that name stuck to us, even though from about 1950 onwards we started to learn how to win. And then it came the time of you two gentlemen's era, when winning became more common. And you were 2 integral parts of that. Lance, you bowled a lot of sides.
Yes, we certainly did. I found that if you're a bowler, the main thing that you had to do is to exploit the weaknesses of batsmen. Each and every batsman has got a weakness, and you go about doing that in your own way. I remember in 1973, Rohan Kanhai was captain, and we were playing against the Combined Islands in Antigua. The first ball I bowled to Viv Richards, the wicket, this was the second innings, the wicket was turning a bit, and I pitched outside off stump, about a foot outside off stump. And he backed away and he hit me through the covers. As I was walking back, I decided to, push it a bit flatter and quicker. And he did the same thing, you know, looking for the turn, it went straight on and bowled him. But that is the type of strategy that, you know, bowlers would use to, you know, look for faults in the batsman and try and get through.
I know for sure when I'm beaten with a ball from a fast bowler or a spinner, the next one, I'm sure that as they're walking back to their mark, they're thinking, well, I might as well try the same one or try something else. I know they're thinking, I am trying to do the same thing because I know by beating with the previous ball, I am going to be ready for the ones that come along. Because, you know, I mean, they have several ways of getting me out, and I am there trying to survive by trying out with them.
On the walk back to the markers for the next run-up, you know, that's the time that you use to sort of concentrate on what happened on the ball before. You're thinking about what the batsman did, his reaction to the ball that you bowled. You know, you have got to try and counteract his reaction, and the time that you use to walk back to your mark, that's the time that you think about it. Because, you know, every action has a reaction, and you have got to counteract the batsman as well. You have got to find a way of getting them out.
I think basically it would take years for anybody to become a great batsman or a great bowler, but anyone with a certain amount of physical coordination could become an outstanding fieldsman.
It's very important, especially when you have fast bowlers like the West Indies team, because if you haven't got the guys to do the fielding, the catching, fast bowlers these days are not going to get too many people out bowled. You've got to have the good fielders taking the catches, preventing the batsmen from getting singles when they shouldn't get them. Because as I said before, you've got to work on a particular batsman ball by ball, and it's important to keep him on strike.
And I think the one-day cricket has helped the fielders to improve in that area.
I was going to say that, you know, what all of this means is that the whole process, the improved fielding, the improved approach to batting, disciplined approach, the thinking bowlers and whatnot have created a self-confidence.
Larry Constantine, eventually to become Lord Constantine, Baron of Maraval and Nelson, as distinguished a West Indian cricketer as there ever has been, wrote in 1933, "The game today needs something that West Indies cricket can give it, and give it for a long time. Conditions are such in the West Indies that we shall never be able to play cricket in the style that it is played by so many Englishmen and now a few Australians. And it is my firm belief that we can learn the atmosphere of Test cricket, get together as a side in order to pull our full weight, and yet, as a side, preserve the naturalness and ease which distinguish our game. Nothing epitomized the West Indian way better than the ebullience of Larry Constantine, a dazzling and magnificent all-rounder. And certainly nothing captured the West Indian way better than those words written by Larry Constantine more than 50 years ago."
And a beautiful, magnificent square cut.
And made no bones about that. And he's bowled him.
Big crowd around the batsman. The Sobers, what a great catch that was.
Oh, and he's bowled him.
Oh, beautiful. Not much doubt about that. Sobers has got him.
That's gone, and Richards has taken it.
And what a great delivery. What a great stroke. What a marvellous catch. And another one gone.
You know, it's worth the entertainment money itself to see this fella field.
Brilliant piece of cricket. That was top class stuff.